McHenry, Vice Chairman of the committee.
Director Watt, thank you. Good to see you again, and always good to see you on the plane coming back and forth from your former district in Charlotte.
Congratulations on that beautiful baby.
Well, thank you, Mel. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your kindness and friendship over the years. And we've been able to have conversations even when we disagree about issues. And so I just want to ask you a few questions, but you know me fairly well, so I figured at some point you'll cut me off here. So it seems that we have some conflicting actions that you've taken. One is you suspend the G fees, right? And you move away from risk-based pricing. At the same time, you start up holding reserves for the Housing Trust Fund and allocating capital to the Housing Trust Fund. In one respect, you're conserving capital for an assessment, and the other, you're actually moving capital away from the enterprise. How do you reconcile that?
Representative McHenry, all I'm doing is following the statutes that were written by Congress and passed by Congress, and we're trying to do it as judiciously and prudently as we can. I'm not even trying to connect those two things. The Housing Trust Fund funding was an independent decision that was based on the statute. The G fee decision was a prudence decision just to give us an opportunity to study the issue thoroughly, and we're doing that, and we don't know where we're going to get to on that. So I think judging where that might go at this point would be premature.
So under the statute, you have no choice. You have to allocate capital for the Housing Trust Fund?
Well, if the statutory standards are met, the contributions to the trust fund can be suspended. They were suspended in 2008 by the acting director at that time, and we applied the same principles under changed circumstances to reinstate them. That's all we did. But the Housing Trust Fund was not created by FHFA. Housing Trust Fund was created by Congress, and the decision to fund it or not fund it is based on statutory criteria.
Yeah, but most of us look at this and think that so look at Freddie being leveraged at 156 to 1, Fannie leveraged at 134 to 1, and think that the conditions are not right because you know, the requirement to suspend the allocation of capital to the Housing Trust Fund shouldn't be justified under these circumstances with this type of leverage rate of these institutions.
That's not one of the statutory criteria that Congress set for evaluating whether to fund the Housing Trust Fund or not fund the Housing Trust Fund.
So is this an odd circumstance? Because you were outspoken about subprime lending in the private sector leading up to the crisis. You know, I heard you in debates here. I heard you on TV at home. That you said that these really high LTV loans were problematic. That this was deeply concerning, especially for those that didn't have savings. That a small fluctuation in the marketplace could cause problems. Do you have that similar concern? Because in many respects, you're making substantial decisions. No, you are making huge decisions. And so the consequences of these actions are real. I know you know that, but, you know, is there that conflict looking back at what you said about the private sector versus the actions you're taking right now?
I don't think there's any conflict between what I said then and what I'm doing now. You need to make responsible loans, and this decision was surrounded by a bunch of compensating factors for every borrower that would make their loan as reliable a loan as a 10% down payment loan, a 20% down payment loan. And that's our responsibility, and I would hope that you all would rely on the same things that I said in advocating for reform in this area to know that we are going to apply those principles and not sanction loans backed by Fannie and Freddie and the taxpayers that are not reliably expected to be paid.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The chair now recognizes the gentlelady from New York.